Charles Sobhraj, a name synonymous with cunning manipulation and cold-blooded murder, was born into a world of instability. His early life, marked by his parents' separation and a lack of belonging, sowed the seeds of his troubled path. He felt like an outsider, shunted between relatives and struggling to find his place. This early sense of displacement fueled a deep-seated resentment and a disregard for societal norms. Sobhraj's teenage years were punctuated by petty crimes, a foreshadowing of the darkness that lay ahead. He craved the thrill of transgression, the adrenaline rush of getting away with his misdeeds. As his crimes escalated, so did his confidence in his ability to outsmart authority. This early taste of power, however fleeting, only served to whet his appetite for more. Born in Saigon in 1944, Sobhraj's early years were a tumultuous mix of cultural and familial disarray. His father, an Indian businessman, and his Vietnamese mother separated soon after his birth, leaving him in a state of constant flux. This instability was compounded by the political upheaval of the time, as Vietnam was embroiled in conflict. The young Sobhraj was often left to fend for himself, developing a hardened exterior and a survivalist mentality. He was shuffled between various family members, never staying in one place long enough to form lasting bonds or a stable identity. This rootlessness became a defining feature of his character, shaping his worldview and his approach to life. As he grew older, Sobhraj's sense of alienation deepened. He felt like an outsider, shunted between relatives and struggling to find his place. This early sense of displacement fueled a deep-seated resentment and a disregard for societal norms. Sobhraj's teenage years were punctuated by petty crimes, a foreshadowing of the darkness that lay ahead. He craved the thrill of transgression, the adrenaline rush of getting away with his misdeeds. As his crimes escalated, so did his confidence in his ability to outsmart authority. This early taste of power, however fleeting, only served to whet his appetite for more. The thrill of breaking the rules and the rush of evading capture became addictive. He craved the thrill of transgression, the adrenaline rush of getting away with his misdeeds. As his crimes escalated, so did his confidence in his ability to outsmart authority. This early taste of power, however fleeting, only served to whet his appetite for more. He began to see the world as a place where only the cunning and ruthless could thrive, and he was determined to be one of them. His early encounters with the law were mere skirmishes in what would become a lifelong battle against societal norms and legal boundaries. The seeds of manipulation were already evident in his youth. He discovered a knack for reading people, exploiting their weaknesses for his own gain. Lies rolled off his tongue with ease, each carefully crafted falsehood bringing him closer to his desired outcome. This talent for deception, honed in the crucible of his turbulent youth, would become his most potent weapon. The world, to the young Sobhraj, was a game rigged against him, and he would use any means necessary to come out on top. His troubled beginnings, far from deterring him, fueled a burning ambition to take what he believed he was owed, no matter the cost. This dangerous combination of resentment, intelligence, and utter disregard for others set the stage for the monster he would become. His ability to manipulate and deceive became second nature, a skill he would refine and use to devastating effect in his later years. The young Sobhraj was not just a product of his environment, he was a master at bending that environment to his will. His early life was a crucible of hardship and instability, but it also forged a mind that was as sharp as it was ruthless. The world had given him little, and he was determined to take everything he could by any means necessary. The stage was set for the monster he would become. His troubled beginnings, far from deterring him, fueled a burning ambition to take what he believed he was owed, no matter the cost. This dangerous combination of resentment, intelligence, and utter disregard for others set the stage for the monster he would become. Charles Sobhraj possessed an undeniable charisma, a magnetic pull that drew people in. His presence was almost hypnotic, making it difficult for anyone to resist his allure. He was a chameleon, adapting his persona to match his surroundings and the people he aimed to exploit. Whether he was in a bustling city or a quiet village, he seamlessly blended in, becoming whoever he needed to be to gain trust. With his sharp wit and charming demeanor, he could disarm even the most cautious individuals, earning their trust with honeyed words and carefully constructed facades. His ability to read people and understand their desires made him exceptionally dangerous. His linguistic prowess further enhanced his manipulative abilities. Speaking multiple languages allowed him to connect with a diverse range of people, breaking down barriers that might have otherwise protected his targets. Fluent in multiple languages, he effortlessly navigated different cultures, using his gift for communication to build rapport and disarm his victims. This cultural adaptability made him a global predator, able to strike anywhere. He understood the nuances of language, the power of a well-placed compliment or a shared joke, to lull people into a false sense of security. His charm was his weapon, and he wielded it with precision. Sobhraj was a master at identifying vulnerabilities. He had an uncanny ability to sense when someone was lonely, insecure, or in need of something more in their life. He could sense weakness like a predator stalking its prey, zeroing in on insecurities and exploiting them to his advantage. His victims often didn't realize they were being manipulated until it was too late. He offered companionship to the lonely, adventure to the bored, and escape to the lost, presenting himself as the answer to their unspoken needs, all the while weaving a web of deceit that would ultimately lead to their downfall. His promises were empty, designed only to ensnare his victims further. He was a puppeteer, skillfully pulling the strings of those around him. Every interaction was calculated, every word and gesture meant to manipulate. He played on their desires, their fears, and their dreams, manipulating them into becoming unwitting pawns in his elaborate schemes. His ability to exploit human nature was unparalleled. His victims, often blinded by his charm and the allure of the lifestyle he presented, rarely saw the danger lurking beneath the surface until it was too late. By then, they were already entangled in his web, with little hope of escape. Charles Sobhraj's criminal career began with petty theft, a series of small-time cons that honed his skills in deception and exploitation. These early crimes were not just about the money, they were a training ground, a way for him to understand human psychology and the art of manipulation. He targeted tourists, drawn to their naivete and vulnerability in unfamiliar surroundings. The bustling marketplaces and crowded streets provided the perfect cover for his schemes. Yet, these early crimes were merely a stepping stone, a way for him to test the waters before diving headfirst into a life of serious crime. He was constantly pushing boundaries, seeing how far he could go without getting caught. As his confidence grew, so did the audacity of his schemes. He began to see himself not just as a petty thief but as a master manipulator, capable of orchestrating more complex and lucrative cons. He graduated from petty theft to grand larceny, masterminding elaborate cons that targeted wealthy individuals and businesses. His operations became more sophisticated, involving detailed planning and precise execution. He reveled in the challenge, the thrill of outsmarting his victims and evading the authorities. Each successful con was a testament to his cunning and intelligence. His crimes became increasingly audacious, a testament to his growing belief in his own infallibility. He began to think of himself as invincible, untouchable by the law. He orchestrated elaborate scams, forging documents, assuming false identities, and weaving intricate webs of lies to achieve his goals. His ability to adapt and reinvent himself made him a formidable adversary. Each success fueled his ego, convincing him that he was above the law, untouchable. The more he got away with, the bolder he became. Yet beneath the veneer of sophistication and charm, a darkness festered. His actions were driven by a deep-seated need for control and power. The stakes were rising, and with each successful con, Sobhraj's moral compass spun further off course. He was willing to take greater risks, driven by an insatiable hunger for more. The lines between right and wrong blurred, replaced by a chilling pragmatism that justified any means to achieve his desired ends. He convinced himself that the ends always justified the means. He was becoming a predator, and the world, it seemed, was his hunting ground. His transformation from a petty thief to a master criminal was complete, and there was no turning back.